I'm Sandesh Bartlett.
And I'm Ashwini Velakan. We begin with a look at the COVID-19 situation in the island. As of this week, the number of COVID-19 infected patients in Sri Lanka stands at 29,378, with the number of recoveries reaching 21,258, and the total number of deaths now stand at 142.
According to the State Minister of Aviation and Export Zones Development, close to 4,000 Sri Lankans await repatriation, while around 50,000 Sri Lankans who are stranded overseas have been successfully repatriated so far.
On Wednesday, police arrested 30 people in a 24-hour window for the failure to follow COVID-19 health regulations.
And finally, a special announcement to our viewers. Anyone who needs information on complaints regarding the quarantine process should call 011 309 0502 or 113. And now for a roundup of local news. The Health Ministry has said it does not approve of the Ayurvedic cure promoted in Kegol earlier this week. However, the Deputy Director General of Health Services stated that as there is no complaint made against the Ayurvedic practitioner, no investigation will be carried out. Scores gathered in Kegol earlier this week to purchase the purported cure from Ayurvedic practitioner Dhammika Bandara.
Meanwhile, a proposed plan to open Sri Lanka to foreign tourists has been given the green light by the President. The Tourism Minister briefed the Cabinet on Tuesday on the discussions held so far on resuming tourism. He also said that health authorities have advised that Sri Lanka allow foreign tourists into the country by implementing a travel bubble.
Responding to the government's preparations to reopen for tourists early next year, the Public Health Inspectors Union said that this would be risky if the government did not take into consideration proper planning. The Public Health Inspectors Union Secretary said that reopening the country had been a prolonged decision and that there would be no issue in doing so if plans were properly executed.
In other news, all members of the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka have stepped down from their posts. This comes after the government's recent decision to shut down the PUCSL based on a budget proposal to reform the laws governing the country's power sector regulator.
In business news, deposit rates further declined in November in response to a continuous decline in lending rates. The average weighted deposit rate fell by 22 basis points to 6.01% by the end of November, taking the total decline rate to 219 basis points or 2.19% in the 11 months to November. The average weighted deposit rate fell by 379 basis points or 3.79% to 5.1% by end October, based on the data available for the first 10 months of the year. Foreign financing of the budget deficit during the 8 months to August recorded a net repayment, underscoring the government's commitment towards reducing its reliance on foreign debt in the years ahead.
Meanwhile, Fitch Ratings has downgraded Bank of Ceylon's long-term foreign and local currency issuer default ratings to CCC from B-. The ratings do not carry an outlook because of the potentially high volatility at this rating level, in line with Fitch Ratings definitions. Fitch has also downgraded BOC's viability rating to CCC from B- and has revised the support rating flow to no flow from B-. The State Minister of Money, Capital Markets and State Enterprise Reform claimed heavy foreign borrowings from the previous government had almost pushed the country into a debt trap. And shelving the Colombo Light Rail project, he said the decision to scrap the Japanese-funded project has not had an adverse impact on relations between the two countries.
In other news, Sri Lanka announced on Tuesday the first large-scale investment in manufacturing in the country, a $300 million tyre factory that would be placed near a strategic port. The cabinet approved the setting up of the tyre plant under the legislation that it allows the Chinese factory generous tax concessions.
Moving on to global news, the total number of COVID-19 cases has surpassed 68 million, with the recovered number being a little over 47 million. US President-elect Joe Biden has set a goal of 100 million COVID vaccinations in his first 100 days in office. He said his first months in office would not end the outbreak and gave few details on a rollout plan, but that he would change the course of COVID-19.
Meanwhile, in the UAE, an experimental coronavirus vaccine developed by China National Pharmaceutical Group has 86% efficacy, the Health Ministry of the UAE said on Wednesday, citing an interim analysis of late-stage clinical trials.
Meanwhile, global stocks reached record highs on Wednesday as investors focused on efforts to provide more fiscal stimulus and positive news on COVID-19 vaccines, while the sterling inched up as British and European leaders meet for talks on a Brexit trade deal.
And in other news, Twitter and 3 other US tech companies have urged the EU to take a flexible approach towards harmful and illegal online content, instead of blanket rules requiring takedown, saying this would preserve an open internet.
And now a look into the world of sports.
The Lanka Premier League took several unexpected turns this week, upending last week's rankings.
As the score stands, Dambulla Viking is at the top of the table with 11 points.
The Colombo Kings occupy second place in the table.
The Jaffna Stallions, whose uninterrupted streak ended earlier this week, now stand at third place. The Gaul Gladiators now reside at fourth place, and at fifth place are the Kandy Tuskers, having won only 2 games out of the total of their 8.
Dambulla, Colombo, Jaffna and Gaul advanced through to the semi-finals.
That's all the news we have for you this week.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Thank you for watching.
Stay safe.